thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to get started because in the past few years, we've seen some pretty big wins for Democrat in statewide races. That includes things like the state Supreme Court and the governor's race. How do you see these upcoming midterms playing out?
I think Democrats have a lot to look forward to in 2026. We have the opportunity to expand a majority on the Supreme Court that believes in fairness for all. We have the opportunity to retain our governorship here in Wisconsin. And for the first time in a long time, now that gerrymandered maps are no longer in Wisconsin, we have the opportunity to win both chambers of the state legislature. What this means, though, is that we can deliver real change for working people in this state in 2027 after we're able to elect Democrats that actually believe in fighting for working people, unlike Republicans who have betrayed them. Whether it's the big, awful budget or the government shutdown that is already on the verge of putting so many Wisconsinites at risk of jeopardizing their food and preventing them from getting the vital government services they need. I think people are realizing how much is at stake, and they know that the Democratic Party is fighting for them. And I think you're going to see that in the results next year.
And I want to talk about these maps a little bit. Do you believe you have the momentum to flip the state assembly?
Absolutely. I think right now we have more opportunity than we have had in a long time, not just to win a majority, but win above and beyond the majority. I think Republicans are going to have to reach a little bit deeper, defend their incumbents more than they are used to. And I'm really looking forward to making sure that we have Assembly Speaker Greta Neubauer come 2027.
Yeah, we spoke with Assembly Speaker Robin Vos earlier this week, who said he's pretty confident in his assembly right now. Do you think that confidence is misplaced?
I would not be so confident if I was in the position where I had to defend the Trump administration's record with 277,000 Wisconsinites about to see their premiums go up if the GOP doesn't open up the government again, with food share funds expiring, with food security of 700,000 people at stake. And this is ultimately the Republicans. They control every branch of government, and they're put in the unfortunate position where they have no choice but to defend Donald Trump, the leader of their party, and go along with it. I think that this is really going to place them in a difficult position. If I were them, I wouldn't be feeling very strong at all.
Now, I also want to get your take on something else Vos said during our interview, which is that both parties made concessions to get this budget through, and he said that that was some good compromise. What do you think about that?
I apologize. I think the first part of your question cut off a little bit.
No worries. Yeah, when we were speaking with Vos earlier this week, he told us that the budget that just passed was concessions were made on both sides of the aisle, and that was some good compromise. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think compromise is generally a good thing. We want to see people getting stuff done. It's just a shame that Republicans aren't willing to do the hard work to keep that progress going. I mean, they are not getting back to work to both fund the government or to mitigate the impacts here in the state of Wisconsin. They are willing to sort of wash their hands and let the working class suffer in this state. Although a little bit of progress is great, I think we have a heck of a lot to do to get back to being able to actually deliver for people in this state and in this country. And I think a lot of people are now looking at the Democratic Party as the folks that are going to get that done. I'm really looking forward to in next weekend, 1 year out from the election, we'll be having conversations with likely over 100,000 folks in the state of Wisconsin about what matters most to them. And I can tell you right now, a lot of what we're hearing is that Republicans broke their promises. They said that they would fight for cost of living. It's higher than ever before. Just today, inflation looks like it's up 3%, might be even at 4% before the end of the year. Affordability is absolutely destroying Wisconsin working families, and they know Republicans aren't doing a darn thing about it.
And I want to get your take now on the statewide races that we're seeing, because you've previously said that you voiced your support for Governor Tony Evers running for re-election. Now that he's not running for re-election, what do you think of the Democratic field?
Well, I think Governor Tony Evers was a fantastic governor for the state of Wisconsin, and I think the next Democratic governor for the state of Wisconsin is going to be a fantastic governor. We have a crop of really exciting candidates, and I think right now this is actually a really unique opportunity for the Democratic Party. We both in the party and I think voters in general are looking to fresh leadership, fresh vision, new ideas. And I think this primary process is going to be a great way for voters to be able to weigh in on what they are looking for their leaders of the future. So I'm really excited to see it. I'm really excited to support whoever the nominee is going to be on August 11th. And I'm also really excited to have been able to partner with Governor Tony Evers to make sure that we have the resources and support that nominee is going to need to be successful. We know they're going to be up against a lot of Republican dark money special interests out the gate, and we want to make sure they're well positioned to win in the 84 days between that primary and the general election.
And it's shaping up to be a pretty wide primary. What do you think of that?
Once again, I think that this is an exciting opportunity, and we should think of it as such for the Democratic Party. The state party is going to be neutral. We want to make sure that voters have the opportunity to hear competing visions, experiences, ideas, and plans for the future from our candidates. And I think that is a good thing right now. I think a primary will make our candidates stronger. It'll make them battle tested before the general election. So this is going to be a great process for us and for the voters. And I look forward to the voters deciding who our nominee is on August 11th.
So you believe that you'll be able to mobilize people even with a wider primary for the Democratic side than the Republicans?
Certainly. I think that's actually one of the benefits of a primary is you have more people for a longer period of time that are traveling the state, firing people up, winning support. And part of the reason why the party stays neutral in this process is that we want to make sure that no matter what side you ended up on, no matter which candidate you ended up supporting and got you excited and got you to show up and engage, that you know that you got a fair shake and we can all lock arms and make sure that we march towards the general election united. So I don't think this is going to impact our ability to mobilize folks. Certainly in comparison to the Republicans in this state, their sort of ground game and their turnout operation, it's in total free fall. If you compare what our state party has done this year and will even do just next weekend alone, we are going to be knocking on doors, making phone calls, talking to people in every corner of this state. They can't even keep their own treasurer for their state party, nonetheless fund the year-round organizing that we are known for that helps us make sure that we are talking to voters about what's at stake every single week of the year. So I am really excited to see the candidates emerge. I'm really excited to see people engage and get energized by this process and harness that energy to help us win in the general election next November.
And I want to get your take now on the state Supreme Court race, because when Justice Rebecca Bradley said that she was not rerunning for re-election, obviously we have a candidate kind of on either side of the ideological spectrum right now, but when Justice Bradley announced that she would not be seeking re-election, she said that she had concerns about the power shift on the court. Is this something you're concerned about?
Well, I am certainly not concerned about the power shift on the court. I think it's very refreshing to have a court that believes in actual fairness and taking the judiciary seriously, not just ramming through cases that do things like make it harder for people to vote. So I am really thrilled that we have been able to help restore fairness to the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. And I would also note that another big reason that Rebecca Bradley decided not to run was that she did not think she could win. She did not think that the Republican Party in the state of Wisconsin would have the support that she needed to be successful. And we are seeing this from Republicans all around the state. They have no faith and confidence in their organization here. You asked me earlier if Robin Voss felt like he was in a strong position. I just don't see how that could be the case when you have so much Republican infighting right now. It really leaves them unable to be as united and strong. And I think that's a big secret to our success here at the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. And that's a gigantic credit to our former chair, Ben Wickler, in how he was able to make everyone feel included, respected, and empowered in the work of our party. And it has powered wins, and I think it will continue to power wins for the Democratic Party in the state of Wisconsin.
So it sounds like you're very confident that Judge Chris Taylor will be the next justice on that court.
I'm going to work my tail off to make sure that Chris Taylor is the next Supreme Court justice. Ultimately, this is Wisconsin. You can't take any race for granted. And I really want to note that this race is critical. I mean, although this could potentially expand a majority on the court for those that believe in fairness for all, this is also part of a Republican focus. We are seeing anti-democratic actions across this country. I would not be surprised that maybe it's not Elon Musk this time that comes in, but to see big dollars come in to support Maria Lazar's run for Supreme Court, because we were so close in 2020 to having the results of our election overturned. We were one vote away on our Supreme Court, and they have a pathway ahead of 2028 to win back an anti-democratic majority on the court to rule on the presidential election in 2028. So I think there's a lot at stake, but we can shut them out of that path by electing Judge Chris Taylor.
And I want to get your take again on something that Voss told us earlier this week, which he said a 5-2 majority would be bad for Wisconsin and puts too much power in the hands of the executive branch here in the state. What do you think about that?
I think it's very interesting that the man who helped power a gerrymander that essentially diluted the democratic voices of the people of Wisconsin has some concerns about margins in the court. Ultimately, this is an individual that, despite the fact that we were a 50-50 state, essentially rigged the state legislative maps to ensure his party was in perpetual power, and not just with narrow majorities, but competing for supermajorities in both chambers each and every time, even when we were winning statewide with Democratic candidates. So I find that honestly hypocritical. And although I'm sure Robin Voss is deeply concerned about, Republicans being held accountable and being judged fairly when they're bringing lawsuits and cases before the highest court in the land, I think his concern is extremely unfounded.
And kind of one last question here for you today. Can you give us a little bit of an insight to the strategy of the Democratic Party going into these elections?
Absolutely. Well, fundamentally, we are about organizing. I think a big reason why Wisconsin has proven to be a little bit different than even other states or the national party is that we relentlessly organize year round. We have been able to, bit by bit, make sure that we are building a more durable majority that believes in fighting and delivering for the working class in the state. And I think you see it in the results in 2024. We were able to get Tammy Baldwin over the finish line. She ran an incredible campaign, but we win a lot of those narrow margins with a ground game like the one we had here in Wisconsin. We also, in 2024, were this battleground state that swung the least. We were actually to the left of Michigan and Pennsylvania, which has not been the case previously. I think all of the hard work that we have done since 2017 has really paid off in making sure that we are staying laser focused on talking to voters about the issues that they care most about, whether that is Social Security, which Trump recently has said is potentially at risk of going away, healthcare, which, whether you are worried about the affordability of healthcare or in rural Wisconsin, just being able to access it, ensuring everyone has access to good quality, affordable healthcare is incredibly important. We stay focused on the things that impact people's lives. We don't get trapped in the noise or the news cycle. We just put our heads down and do the work. And I expect that we'll have no problem continuing to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you talking with me. Have a great day.